So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Cast the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, well, let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Quotes coming out about Embiid. Oh, he's a warrior. You'll never get him off the court. You're just telling me he's an injury. He's one slip and fall away from what's not seeing him anymore in this series.
I would have sat him because there was only 1 day between the two games. It's 2 days between games 2 and games 3, and it's 2 days between games 3 and game 4.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. All right, Carver High, Hour 3 of C2C on SportsGrid and all of our radio affiliates as well. Good to have you with us. Let's start with this Cavs Magic series that, believe it or not, even though there's no talk of it, no interest in it, no showing of it on network. I mean, they squeeze it on NBA TV every time they play. They refuse to acknowledge that it's actually a series. Yeah. Meanwhile, Game 5 was great in Cleveland. It was a 1-point game, and Game 6 is in Orlando, and they just refuse to acknowledge that it's going on.
They refuse to acknowledge. Now, they're going to have to tomorrow night because it's a standalone game, so they will play Game 6 in Orlando tomorrow. For the series, the Cavs are now minus 400. The Magic are plus 325 going into Game 6 tomorrow night. Of course, we'll spend more time on this tomorrow. Secret weapon for Orlando, Scotty, tomorrow night. I found out last night on the radio show that Waldo's going to be in attendance for the Magic there in Orlando. So that could turn the tide for them in that series and get them back to Cleveland.
They have kicked the Cavs' ass in Orlando.
They have.
The games in Orlando have been blowouts. The game the other night in Cleveland was a 1-point game, and the Cavs are lucky they won it. So my feeling is that Orlando can win that game tomorrow night and force a Game 7 in Cleveland.
I agree with you on that. The other series, which we'll dive into more tomorrow, is the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, who are going to play Game 1 on Saturday night. They will open their series. The Nuggets are minus 190. The Timberwolves are plus $155 for the series. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that.
I mean, it's brutal to try to pull that lever and say, give me the T-Wolves at $155 to win the series based on who they're playing. Now, talent-wise, I'm not going to argue that Minnesota is as good as Denver this year. They are dangerous. Anthony Edwards, it goes on and on. McDaniels, Gobert, Cat Towns, Conley, Naz Reid. I think they're a fantastic team, but the core of Joker, Murray, Gordon, and Porter, and then the pieces that go with it, Caldwell Pope, Brown, they're savage. That team is the champs for a reason. They are savage good. And I still think they're better than the T-Wolves because of their experience in this deep round, into the second round, into a conference final, into the NBA finals. They've already proven that they know how to do it and get it done. It's the same team, same coaching staff, same great players, same great big. Joker's a problem. But look, the T-Wolves have two bigs that can really play. So I think it's just going to be a phenomenal series. I pray to God it goes 7.
That would be a lot of fun if we could get that. Quick update on the East and the West. The Celtics are now minus 210. The Nuggets right there. There you go. Celtics minus 210 to win the East. They are the clear favorites. Knicks are next at plus 475. And in the West, Scotty, the Nuggets are plus 105 with the Thunder and Timberwolves both plus 350, plus 375 right behind.
So they give Oak City more juice than they do the T-Wolves because Oak City was the 1 seed. I think is the only reason that number's there. I think that the fact remains, I love that young Oak City team. I think they're incredible. They destroyed New Orleans, and they're going to be a major problem for, I think, Dallas. I think Dallas can get by the Clippers, and then they're going to have a problem dealing with that team. I think the Thunder are better than the Mavericks, flat out, on both ends of the floor. And I think they can win that. And then it comes down to, are those young kids good enough to deal with the winner of that Denver Mini? And I think both of those teams, believe it or not, I think Denver and Minnesota are both better than the Thunder at the end of the day in a deep playoff series, which is exactly what that'll be.
They are they are the experience out of this group. There's no question about that with those two young teams doing this really for the first time. Lakers coach Darvin Ham expected to be chopped by the end of the week. We've already discussed all the LeBron nonsense. Not sure if he's played his last game for the Lakers. Blah, 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 blah. He'll be back for the bouquets. We've said that 1,000 times.
Yeah,
he's going to take his little retirement tour somewhere, Scotty, and it'll be in L.A. with Bronny. That's what he's going to end up doing.
Yeah, I'm sick of hearing about people trying to put him on the Knicks and all this rhetoric.
Sixers.
Now I'm hearing
he's going to go to Philly, too. He's going to Philly to play for the Sixers. It's a done deal.
Sure he is. And then I heard KD's going to the Heat. And, I mean, it's just so awful. The suggestions. You know what? I need a break from LeBron James. Honestly, can we just get like the rest of the NBA playoffs in without spending every waning effing moment talking about LeBron James? We have been doing this for 20 years, and we're going to keep doing it. He's out. He's done. He's eliminated. But we're going to talk about his crappy son who's got a high school game. He don't even have a college game. I don't want to hear it. He was never good in the NCAA yet. He came off the heart. He was not good at USC. That's all there is to it. He was the third or fourth best player at Sierra Canyon. He wasn't even the best player there. And you're going to put him in the NBA so he can play with his daddy? The whole thing is so cheesy. I'd rather watch the 500-pound chick stalk the guy on reindeer. It's way better than listening to LeBron and his son. I just am sick and tired of it. I don't care. Hate me all you want. I'm sick and tired of hearing about this guy every day, all day. He got eliminated. He's done. Put him to bed. Thanks. Season over. I don't care where you play next year, old man. Christ almighty, I'm sick and tired of it. I'd rather cut to my mailman.
Last thing from the eliminated crowd. We spent some time with the Suns earlier in the week when you were here.
Oh, God.
Now you said KD. Go. You said KD to Miami, right? I don't think that's good. Or KD going anywhere. You want to know why, Scott? You listen to this guy Ishbia, and I gave you that story. There's people in the organization who think he's too involved. He should let the basketball people make the decisions.
Right.
He says here he wouldn't trade his roster, which just got swept in the first round,
for anybody,
for anyone else is in the league. Here's Suns owner Matt Ishbia.
Oh, it's extremely fixable. I mean, let's just be real. Although this isn't a cool narrative, and the national media really won't want to play it out there, but like, ask the other 29 GMs. 26 of them would trade their whole team for our whole team and our draft picks and everything as is. Like, The house is not on fire. We're in great position. It's not hard to fix. It's not like we're like, hey, we don't have enough talent to win a championship. We have enough talent to win a championship, right? Do we have enough continuity? Do we have time together? Like, there's a lot of things we can look at. Do we have like the right leadership in place? Do we have to add some little pieces around? It's not like we don't have people that can score the ball, not play defense and have one champ. Like, we have all the things. And so, how fixable is it? And I mean, if I read the media, I would think we have a lot of problems. But luckily, I get to spend time with, the best players in the world, in my opinion, the best coaches, GMs, like all these people, and I get to spend time with our people and say, we're in really great shape, and I wouldn't trade our team or our situation for anyone else's, except for I'd like to be playing right now. But besides that, for how going into the offseason, I feel great about it. It's not like there's a lot of other teams that have good players that have to re-sign them or they're going to lose them, or that they're unrestricted free agents. Like, our starting five's coming back. I feel very good about it.
You should feel really good about it, considering how you just looked in the playoffs and got KY jellied and bent over and dragged around by a truck. They're awful. I don't even want to hear it. He said he's got the best coach, the best GM, the best front office, the best roster, the best draft picks. Bro, you are absolutely tripping drunk. Tripping. He's tripping. Did he not just watch his team lay eggs like chickens? I mean, honestly.
That was good. I got to tell you, that was a good one.
What a mess that guy is.
Man, they give that guy the mic more. Let him keep talking. I don't want him stepping away from anything with the team. That's outstanding.
Meanwhile, his players hate Frank Vogel. They won't even high-five him. They don't listen to a word he says.
Dame get frustrated. Miserable year in Milwaukee. Does he ask out? Does Giannis ask out? Well, you ain't got no one else to trade. Middleton makes a ton of money, old. Bobby Portis makes a ton of money, old. Brook Lopez makes a ton of money, old. Pat Connaughton's going to give you nothing in trade value. So to me, watch Milwaukee. Folks, this could be the end of the Bucks dynasty.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Carver High just told me that the protest ratings in Los Angeles at UCLA were higher than the Cleveland Magic series. They had better ratings watching the Palestinian protests.
That's true. That's definitely true.
Bigger numbers.
Buried those games on NBA TV. Those great games. I didn't even know Gus was doing the game the other night. We played a clip yesterday. I was like, wow, Gus did the Magic game on NBA TV. How about that? They'll be on tomorrow night, though. Let's get to the hockey now. How about hockey?
Everybody loves hockey.
Everybody does love hockey, and we are getting towards the end of the first round in the Stanley Cup playoffs as well. And last night, finally, Scotty, the ice was broken in the Vegas-Dallas series. The away team had won the first 4 games. Road teams have been holding strong. Not last night, as the Stars go home and they take control of the series, 3-2 now. In fact, they won 3-2 last night, tied at 2. Jason Robertson on the power play on ESPN.
Heiskanen, Robertson, right between the dots. That shot blocked. Another try. Dallas has the lead.
Like, that horn is so painful that you can't even hear Bob calling the game. Like, they've got to get rid of these horns in these NHL arenas. It's the dumbest thing that's ever happened to sports is the horn at the arena that just is so painful. And when you're there, like, I went to 2 games in 2 weeks. You remember when I went to the Rock. And, I mean, I went to one game, there was like 9 goals scored in the game. And that horn, by the time I went home, I had a migraine. Honestly, like, it's so painful. It never ends, that horn. It's the dumbest thing ever. But look, huge win for Dallas. I don't know what to say. Like, are they really – they win 3 in a row. Are they really better than Vegas? Every game is close. Is Vegas going to win Game 6 and force Game 7 in Dallas? The game's in Vegas at the T-Mobile. I say they tie it up. I think it's going 7. It'll be one of 3. I think the Knicks, I think the Magic, and I think Dallas-Vegas are going 7.
I think Dallas-Vegas is going 7 as well. I think that Vegas will win tomorrow night, that Game 6 at the T-Mobile, and we'll get ourselves a Game 7 on Sunday there for that. If you think that Vegas can actually do that, plus 350 for them in this series. The Stars are now minus 450 there for that scenario to finish that series off.
Do you think that they'll win in Dallas in Game 7? Because I think they'll win Game 6. Who wins Game 7? Those are some gigantic numbers there for Dallas. You think Dallas does it in 7 at home?
I got to say, I've seen Vegas win there twice already. I saw Vegas win there in the Western Conference Finals last year. If you think that Vegas is going to win tomorrow night, which I do, and it sounds like you do as well,
right?
I think I'd grab the 325,
right?
And you have it for Sunday. And then if Vegas gets up a goal in the first period, you might grab Dallas live at plus 200 or plus 225, and you got both sides.
You're right.
With a good number. So I think that personally, that's how I would probably go after Vegas and Dallas for this coming week, because I do think they're going to win tomorrow. We already talked about the Oilers. They beat the Kings 4-3 last night. They won the series in 5. Draisaitl had a huge night for Edmonton. The one goal was tricky, Sky. Did you see the one with the glove that went over the line and he brought it back? The kid Rittich on the Kings. Unfortunately for them, you lose. You're out.
They're haunted by the Edmonton Oilers now. It's 3 straight years. It's like, you play all year, it's 7 months, and then it comes down to the same ending. It's like a bad movie. They just keep losing to the Edmonton Oilers. Even Kopitar said it sucks. He's sick and tired of it. And I think, you heard Dennis Bernstein tell us, fans don't want to go see that series anymore and pay those prices to see them lose to the Edmonton Oilers every year. And I think he's dead on.
Well, they're going to get, if they get that rivalry, if they get that Vancouver-Edmonton series in the second round, that will be a hot ticket, both in Edmonton and in Vancouver. If you get those two together, that's for sure, the Western Canadian teams. Tonight, of course, we only have one game on the slate, and that is a Game 6 in Toronto for the Bruins and the Leafs. The Leafs forced a Game 6 with the win in Boston the other night. Let's start with Bruins head coach Jim Montgomery, Scotty, because, of course, the Bruins have been very comfortable on the road. The other thing to remember, Bruins blew a 3-1 lead last year in the first round against Florida. Will that also start to creep into their heads? Here's Montgomery.
You know, when you're on the road in the playoffs, you spend all your time together. You know, it's so much easier to eliminate outside noise when you're on the road. And these guys are watching other playoff games together.
Meanwhile, this guy was complaining about being on the road last
team meals together. So it's a little easier to stay dialed in. And you're talking hockey a lot, right? Because there's nothing else on our minds. And you're with like-minded people.
Yeah, I don't think anyone listens to a word that guy says at all. I'm bad enough, let alone him. Okay, so let's look at the reality here. This is not about him at all. This is about the Leafs suck. They always have sucked. They lose every game that matters in their building. They've lost, 6 in a row, 9 of 10 in their building? They are awful. Boston's going to knock them out tonight. That'll be the end of it. They never win when it matters. Well, tonight matters. Let's see them win tonight when it matters. They only win games when it doesn't matter. That's it. When have they ever won a game that mattered? In the last 50 years. How about none? 0. They haven't won a game that mattered in 50 years. That's it.
They've lost 6 straight home playoff games.
Mike, I don't believe for 1 minute that last year's 3-1 choke by the Bruins has a effing thing to do with this tonight.
Not when that team's on the other side. Not
Or
when the
a
team
game
that never
7.
wins is on the other side.
If they lose tonight, Boston still wins in 7 at the Garden automatic.
They get frustrated. Miserable year in Milwaukee. Does he ask out? Does Giannis ask out? Well, you ain't got no one else to trade. Middleton makes a ton of money, old. Bobby Portis makes a ton of money, old. Brook Lopez makes a ton of money, old. Pat Connaughton's going to give you nothing in trade value. So to me, watch Milwaukee. Folks, this could be the end of the Bucks dynasty.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Catch the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, well, let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad, bad, bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
So, obviously it's not about me. I get it, but I gotta be frank. So I played in a championship game one night in a violent league, violence. And this kid in the perfect storm broke my hand. he slapped down 100 miles an hour to knock a ball out of my hands. And, like when Katie puts the ball on the deck, I put the ball on the deck. I picked the ball up. The kid smashed my hand, and it broke in 5 places. We had 6 guys on the team, no one else. We had no bench. I took my arm and I wrapped it in my jersey, and it was the size of a baseball glove. Instantly, when he broke it, I wrapped it in a jersey, and I played with one hand the rest of the way. I went 15-9 with one hand. All I know is I wouldn't leave that game to have my hand fixed any more than I'd have babies. I can't give birth to babies, okay? But here's the deal. I don't understand how this guy, Auston Matthews, I just will never understand, where is this guy when it matters? He's not going to play again tonight. You know what? Then why ever play with us? Just get rid of him. 70 goals, and then where are you, dude? What do you have, diarrhea? I don't understand why this guy is not playing in these games that are so enormous. Honestly, one night I dropped a 30-pound weight on my toe. I broke my toe. I still played that night in a playoff game with a broken toe. I couldn't even run. I will miss nothing ever when there's a game. Why is this guy not playing? What a wussy is this guy?
Look, I think that part of this goes back to a conversation we had the other day about the nonsense that is how the NHL is allowed to report their injuries, or the lack of the amount. I think that there's some speculation out there that he does have a larger injury. I've seen some people, these people who break down all his film say that they think he suffered some sort of injury in game 2 or 3 with his knee going into the boards, or how he was taken down. Well, then why say he's sick? Why say there's an illness? Why say that? Just say he's hurt. This is the stuff that drives you nuts. You never have any idea what's going on with these guys. And you know what's going to happen, Scotty? We're sitting here questioning, why is this guy not playing? It's the 2 biggest games of the year.
Right.
And when they get eliminated tonight, after the game, they'll tell you the real story. No, or they'll tell you the real story, and we're going to sit here going, well, I wish I would have known that earlier. Maybe I wouldn't have hammered the guy, or maybe I would have went deeper on, whatever it is. It's just, tell us what the problem is. Instead,
but they won't.
You like to say, you like to do it all the time. You're not going to tell us what's wrong with them? Well, then I'll make something up. I'll make something up.
You're a wussy. You're a wussy. I will play through anything. I'll play through anything. I will literally, you have to drag me off the court. The other day I was playing, and I called timeout, and they're like, are you all right? Are you all right? I go, I was playing on this big NBA court. I go, I just can't run up and down this court. I need a second. I just need a breather. But I never quit. I never don't play because I got some injury or whatever in big games, right? I get it. You have open heart surgery. You don't play for 5 months. But I have played. Mafia has seen me play with every injury known to man. Broken wrists, hands, toes, knees. I was in a game, and I played with a kid, broke my kneecap with a cheap shot, cut me out under my legs. I kept playing with a broken knee. I'm not even acting like I'm cool here. I'm saying, what kind of a wuss bag doesn't show up for games 5, 6? Let me guess. If they win tonight, he's not playing in game 7 either because he's a mommy's boy. Get him a binky. Maybe go breastfeed. Get him some milk. Can we get him some lamb? Or maybe some venison? Can we get him something sissy-like? Maybe a lollipop. Honest to Christ. I'm tougher than him. I don't care what anybody says. Wussy.
The Bruins are minus 130 favorites tonight in Toronto. The Leafs are plus $110. The total is 5.5 this evening.
I blame everything on him. It's got to be the Bruins. It's got to be. If they lose, they will still win the series come hell or high water. Automatic.
I think it's the Bruins tonight as well. In fact, I think a big night, as usual, Scotty. Who's the guy that usually closes it out? It's Marchand. And I could see Marchand
and Pasta.
Pasta's been quiet. Maybe he busts out tonight. You want to play Pasta for 2 goals tonight? Little Pasta 2 goals, break it out tonight? Let's go.
Dame get frustrated? Miserable year in Milwaukee. Does he ask out? Does Giannis ask out? Well, you ain't got no one else to trade. Middleton makes a ton of money, old. Bobby Portis makes a ton of money, old. Brook Lopez makes a ton of money, old. Pat Connaughton's going to give you nothing in trade value. So to me, watch Milwaukee. Folks, this could be the end of the Bucks dynasty.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you for the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Cast the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's
yes.
How we end the show. That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kaplan is our NFL insider. You can follow him on X at Kaplan NFL. Well over 2 decades of covering the National Football League. You can catch him on SportsGrid across the board on all the shows and on C2C regularly. We're talking about NFC win totals by division post-draft here today. Why don't we start with your favorite place, the NFC East?
Yeah, it's funny. So that division's pretty much stayed the same, Scott. Not much movement. The Cowboys and Eagles are still 10.5 wins, which is what we expect. The Cowboys are plus 105 on the over of 10.5. The Eagles are also plus 105. And look, when you really look at it, the Cowboys addressed their big issue at left tackle. They got Tyler Guyton, who I put in my mock draft for ProFootballNetwork.com before the draft that probably would happen. They would take the best offensive tackle, and they did that. They signed Zeke Elliott. You and I talked about that on Monday. At least they have a quasi-starting running back. They need more juice at that position, but he still could play. Philly had a phenomenal draft. They addressed a major need with Quinyon Mitchell, the best corner for this draft at number 22 overall. They got Cooper DeJean, the outstanding defensive back. We're going to call him a defensive back, Scott, because he could play safety, slot corner, outside corner. So they addressed some big needs for the future. So you could understand why they would have those odds. Now, the Commanders, who, by the way, had a great draft, their over-under total is 6.5. The over is minus 130. They had, and I grade the drafts, they had a top 5 draft. 9 players. They probably got 4 starters out of this draft. They addressed a lot of needs. I still have a problem with their offensive line. We'll see how good Jaden Daniels is. But I like the start that Adam Peters, the GM, got off to with his football team. So look, when you really look at it, the Commanders improved. The Giants, look, they got Neighbors, their wide receiver, but they got a long way to go. Their quarterback situation is dreadful. But the Eagles and Cowboys are very, very even. But if we're just looking at the draft and free agency, the Eagles got certainly a lot better on paper than the Cowboys.
Well, let me ask you this: the Giants at 6.5, the under is minus 130. If this continues. Like, last year was a disaster. If this continues for Brian Daboll, he's doomed.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, think about it, right? 2 years ago, they came out of nowhere to overachieve, and somehow they won a playoff game with really not very much talent on the offensive line, issues at receiver, but great coaching job. The next year, they fall back. The quarterback tears his ACL. Daboll makes coaching changes, but they did not bring anyone in, a legitimate starter. Drew Lock has got major accuracy issues. Got a great arm, big guy, but he's got issues with getting the ball in time and getting it in accurately. And Daniel Jones is coming off a major injury. So to think that they're going to get over 7 wins or getting 7 wins or more to take the over, no way. That's why the under is what it is, because everybody sees it. It's not a secret. They have a under 500 roster. There's no way that team will get 9 wins or more. No chance.
So what about the North? Because I know you and I are both high on the Packers.
Yep. Yeah. And Scott, I told you this when we went over these win totals last month. It's the same thing I said about the Lions last year. Get on them early before the hype started. Well, the Packers have a great draft. They had a decent free agency. So their pre-draft over-under total was 9.5 wins and minus 135. Well, everybody hit it. They saw the value in it. Now it went up a full game, not a half game. It went up a full game to 10.5. It's now plus 130 if you want to take over, and minus 180 on the under. Look, to me, they're not going to have fewer than 10 wins. It's not going to happen. In fact, I could see 11 or 12. I like the fact that they addressed some needs on defense. They also addressed the left tackle issue. No question about that, with Bakhtiari being released. So they addressed that. And when you look at it, looks to be one of the best young quarterbacks in football, the best pass target group in football. They're all young, and they're going to grow together. Brian Gutekunst, the GM, has done a phenomenal job. And what could you say? That's going to be an incredible race between the Lions and the Packers. And by the way, the Lions are still at 10.5. The over is minus 110, by the way. So if you think they'll have 10 wins or less, it's minus 110. But the over is also minus 110. So which it's actually minus 150. It's minus 115. It's gone up a little bit because clearly they're very good. And the Lions, I told you before the draft, they have to address hard their problems at cornerback. They got away with it until the championship game, and they addressed it. They added 2 corners in the first 2 rounds, which they had to do.
Do you think because I like that Bears under at plus 110, under 8.5. Do you think that the Vikings at 6.5, that over at 7 at minus 140 is a legit bet? Do you think that kid McCarthy and that team can go 7-10 and win a 7th game and hit that bet?
I do. I do like them hit it. Here's why. And I put this out for Pro Football Network. There are teams that had 2nd or 3rd round grades on McCarthy, but don't grade the way that he was asked to play at Michigan. He's going to a West Coast offense. The West Coast offense is perfect for guys like Brock Purdy, who doesn't possess a great arm. Look how good Purdy is in the same system. I know that there's tweaks to each West Coast offense, but you don't ask him to throw the ball 40 or 50 yards downfield. It's 10, 15, no more than 20 yards on slants, quick routes. Get out of his hands. Look at that pass target group with Jefferson and Addison, and Hawkinson come off his injury, but he was great before it. This is a good system. And by the way, they addressed some defensive needs. You know how great of a job Brian Flores has done with their defense. They're very lucky that they retained him. So that's legit over there. Now, we should mention with the Vikings, the over grew a little bit. It went from minus 140 before the draft to minus 150 because let's face it, they now have a quarterback. They were not going with Sam Darnold. That's not going to happen. It's going to be McCarthy week 1.
So in the South, it boils down to this. Can Cousins win 10 games in Atlanta? And I do believe that the Bucs are live at over 7.5 at minus 140. And I'd even be willing to put, frankly, the Saints at over 7.5 to get 8 wins. To go 8-9, to me, is reasonable with that team that they have at minus 130. Falcons, people just think they're going to win all these games because they have Kirk Cousins. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I've got them around 9 wins. I don't like that over. I like the Bucs, which is what I told you. In fact, they've moved a little bit. The 7.5 went from minus 140 to minus 145. The over 7.5. They addressed some needs in the draft. There's no question about it. They got Mayfield back. They got Mike Evans back. They've got some young pass rushers who they really like. They're going to revamp their secondary corner a little bit. The Falcons offensively should be fantastic. I'm still looking for those pass rushers. They didn't get Dallas Turner. They decided to draft Michael Penix, who's not going to play this season.
Right.
So they're getting absolutely nothing from the first-round pick for 2 seasons.
Let's go to the West. The Niners, 11.5 is their pre-draft total. And then post draft still 11.5. Rams pre 8.5. Post 8.5. Do you think that McVay and the Rams can win 9 games and have another good season with Puka Shells and company, Stafford, etc.?
Yeah, that one at 8.5, and I know they really overachieve, but no Aaron Donald. That does concern me a little bit. They brought in Jared Versus, more of a stand-up. He's actually a hand-down pass rusher. He's not great standing up, but he is an edge rusher, which they needed. But losing Aaron Donald is massive. That does concern me. Their offense is fantastic. Stafford still showed, by the way, that he has it. The over, by the way, is -125 because they should be around 9 wins. That's right now where I would put them. But, boy, the Niners, the over is +105 of 11.5. And 12 wins or more is a lot. And, the Cardinals, by the way, they drafted 12 players.
Right.
They had my second best draft. I got to give Monty Austin their GM credit. They had a phenomenal draft. They addressed so many needs. I know John Lynch told me one year you can't address every need in one offseason, but they sure tried with the Arizona Cardinals. And by the way, their over total of 140 is their total is 6.5 over is -140. I actually like them to get 7 wins.
I like
it's funny.
that.
I do. You and I are seeing it the same. And Kyler Murray now, he's over a year removed from the ACL surgery. He actually looked good to finish the season. Had that great game at Philly. So, yeah, I do like the Cardinals to be one of the surprise teams with 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, and Murray's going to hook up with Harrison. I like them to win 7 games, go 7 and 10 at worst, and hit that bad.
Does Dame get frustrated? Miserable year in Milwaukee. Does he ask out? Does Giannis ask out? Well, you ain't got no one else to trade. Middleton makes a ton of money, old. Bobby Portis makes a ton of money, old. Brook Lopez makes a ton of money, old. Pat Connaughton's going to give you nothing in trade value. So to me, watch Milwaukee. Folks, this could be the end of the Bucks dynasty.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. Taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Cast the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show. That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Check out the new betting market for the NHL playoffs that you can only get with BetMGM. They have empty net goal markets for entire slates as well as specific games. Find them in the app under the NHL tab, then the props tab. You can also find the specific game markets under each game along with the NHL props tab. So we do have some straggler NHL stories to tell you about before we get into baseball, Carver High. Start with that Brindamore story.
Yeah, that's the one that I really did want to get in with you today. Of course, tomorrow we will dive into heavy Nashville and Vancouver. We'll play Game 6 tomorrow night, etc., along with that Dallas-Vegas Game 6 too. The Rangers in Carolina don't start for a few days. I just thought it was kind of a bizarre time to start putting the Rod Brind'Amour contract negotiations in the media, right, Scotty? You're just coming off beating the Islanders in the first round. You're getting ready for this big series with the Rangers. You had Waddell, who you love, General Manager Don Waddell, yesterday say, well, everything's fine and it's going to get worked out and he's going to be a Hurricane for life. And then an hour later, a story that says, well, that's not true at all. They're nowhere near close in talks and that Rod might, the contract's off the table. Then today again, oh, no, it's close. It's going to get there. It's just a weird time, don't you think, to be talking about this in the middle of a playoff run?
I mean, I do. And I also, frankly, along with 99% of the rest of the world, don't give a rat's ass. No one cares about Rod Brind'Amour's contract status with the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's get real here for a second. Secondly, no one cares about Don Waddell either. I have said this to you on a number of occasions that I believe Little Willie could coach the Carolina Hurricanes in the series against the Rangers. He's, 3 years old? I think he could do a great job coaching the Hurricanes against the Rangers. Here's what you do. You put your best lines out on the ice and your best defensive pairings out on the ice, your best goalie out on the ice, and you play to win, and you hit somebody. Talking about his contract as serving no one any benefit whatsoever. First of all, if he leaves, he'll get a job in 5 minutes. And if he stays, they're just going to pay him more money. And I know they've won it once. I think that they're a very good team, and I think that series with the Rangers is going to be fantastic. In fact, I think the hockey in that series is way more significant than his job status. I don't think Brind'Amour has anything to worry about. I think the Hurricanes have to pay him, or they're going to lose him, and he'll have a job in 5 minutes. Like, would you hire him in Salt Lake City? In 5 seconds, they would hire him.
In a nanosecond. He would have, like you said, he'd have a job immediately. Other teams would fire their current coach to bring Brind'Amour in and make him the head coach. Hurricanes are minus 160 for that series. Rangers are plus 135.
Shows you how cheap the Canes are, right? Like, they won't even pay their coach who wins them a Stanley Cup. Like, they won't even pay him. They're cheap. That's what they are. Don Waddell playing his usual games as the GM. He's a budget guy. Look, he's all about – he was never into any humor or anything. I have never been around a guy that enjoyed life less than him. He was miserable. He never smiled, nothing. It was all business every day. I hate people like that.
I was really just looking for a chance to bring up Don Waddell with you today. That was really the only reason why I wanted to bring that up. And look, you're right. He won a cup there as a player, of course. He was the captain of the team when they won their cup. As a coach, he's brought them to 2 Eastern Conference Finals in the last few years. They've been very successful. Haven't gotten over the hump yet as a coach. We'll see if they could do that this year.
They'll never do better than him. Who's going to be better than him?
No. Why would anybody go? Right. He had history there. That's why he's the coach there. He won a cup there as a player, understands it's a great place to live. No doubt about that.
Whatever. Let me tell you something. I went there to do games, right, all the time. And I called a bunch of games there because they were in our division. And, I went there at least 3 times or something like that. And all I know is it was the worst place I've ever been to have fun in my life. Like, we were in the hotel, and I was like, what are we going to do here? They're like, oh, we're going to get a van, and we're all going to go down into Raleigh and party at the country bar. I'm like, I'm sitting at the bar here and getting hammered. You guys are all a bunch of femmes. There's no country bar I'm going to in Raleigh I'm going to have any fun at. I'm going to get punched in the face by some cowpoke at a country bar in Raleigh, Bumpkin, USA. You heard me. I'm from New York City. Can you imagine me trying to get my rocks off in Raleigh? It's impossible. Like, I couldn't go to Raleigh and have fun if someone gave me $1 million. I mean, that place in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to do there. It's hell on earth.
I went there once for a game, Rhode Island, Carolina game, and you're right. It's
boring.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's the worst. And then when I called the games in the arena, I was like this. I'm doing a game. I'll never forget it because I was already a mess. And I'd be like, I was drinking before the game. I'm like, God, this place sucks so bad. It's so boring. This game is so boring. I'm like, this is like at game 71 of 82. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. This place is so boring. I go, this game is so awful. Someone please give me a gun. I mean it. That's how bad it was. I hate it. Anyone that lives there, hate me all you want. I'll be fine. Thanks.
There is only one baseball game tonight for you. That's why just not a lot of baseball. Everything's final from the afternoon. The Rangers won, the Giants won, the Mets won, the Extras, Marlins and the Orioles won. The Guardians and the Astros in Houston. Arrighetti and Logan Allen tonight. Astros minus 135 and plus 115 for the Guardians and a flat 9. They've played 2 extra inning games the last couple nights, Scotty. Houston won on a walk-off 2 nights ago. Stephen Kwan won the game for Cleveland last night with a hit and that great double play that he made. I think Cleveland wins again tonight.
I'm with you. I think the Astros have been bunk all season so far. I have no reason to start investing in them at all.
What a shame that is, by the way. What a shame that they've been bunk. I got a lot of stories for you to close things out when we come back. I got some NFL stuff for you. I got some boxing stuff for you. I've got Tiger Woods for you. We got a lot to get through when we finish off when we return.
All right.
Dame get frustrated. Miserable year in Milwaukee. Does he ask out? Does Giannis ask out? Well, you ain't got no one else to trade. Middleton makes a ton of money, old. Bobby Portis makes a ton of money, old. Brook Lopez makes a ton of money, old. Pat Connaughton's going to give you nothing in trade value. So to me, watch Milwaukee. Folks, this could be the end of the Bucks dynasty.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I turned it off. I got my sweat done, and I'm leaving. I'm taking my money. I'm going home, and I don't want to talk to you the rest.
Oh, yes!
There it is.
6-3. Cast the over. The over is hit. The Padres are our heroes.
That's how we end the show.
Oh, what? Let's just sign off. Let's just call it a show.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
I just don't want to play for clicks. I want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. Him leaving Colorado, a shot across the bow at Dion. I don't think Dion cares.
We saw Logan Diggs move on from LSU to Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Don't be shocked if you see John Emery potentially maybe at another school, maybe like a Miss State or even maybe like a Texas A&M.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Like, hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver, hi. You got all these stories you want to funnel me. A couple of them I don't like.
A couple of them you're not going to like. Quickly first, Lillard in for the Bucks. Giannis out. That's official. Line is now 5.5 after the Lillard news for the Bucks and the Pacers, which starts in about 35 minutes. Jaylen Warren, I saw this interview with him, says that Steelers special teams coach has talked about using Justin Fields on kickoff returns. That's got to be nonsense. I don't believe that. Maybe he must have been making a joke, and Jalen Warren didn't hear him properly, Scott. That's the only way I could possibly take that story.
That's the story. I just don't like this idea whatsoever at all. It's got to be bunk. There's no way that they have Justin Fields as Russell Wilson's backup, and they're going to let him run back kicks in the NFL. What a disaster.
No shot. Stephen Ross is not looking to sell a majority stake of the Dolphins, despite some reports saying that he was. I heard that Waldo was the guy that was going to buy the majority stake of the Dolphins from Stephen Ross. Apparently, that's the deal that's fallen through. That's right. Kirby Smart signs a extension with Georgia, $13 million a year now for Kirby Smart. He is now the highest paid coach in college football, Scotty. Some would say deservedly. So, Canelo Alvarez and Oscar.
Time out. I got 5.
Go ahead.
So, I did Waldo once, and we're at the Dolphin game, and he says to me, just stay in the seats. I'm going to go up into Steven's luxury box. So I'm in his season tickets on the 50-yard line. I'm like 20 rows in front of Ross's luxury suite. And there's Waldo sitting in the luxury box waving at me the whole game, eating shrimp, drinking cocktails as I'm sitting out in his seats, taking abuse from fat chicks that sit around him. And he just left me there. He just sat in the luxury suite with the owner and left me in the seat by myself.
That sounds like something that Waldo would do. I believe that. Canelo Alvarez and Oscar De La Hoya got separated after a war of words at the press conference for Canelo's fight this weekend. He's fighting some tomato can I've never heard of. But him and Oscar were fighting.
Manjaya.
Who?
Jaime Manjaya. Now listen.
Either way, the fight should be Canelo and De La Hoya. Those are the guys that should be fighting.
Well, they hate each other's guts, and that's because Canelo left Golden Boy Boxing, and Oscar wants Canelo to be on his knees, knobbing him for all his years promoting him, and we all know that Oscar. Just so we're clear here, I want to be really clear, just specifically about him. He's completely nuts. He's out of his mind, whacked. And there's no one in boxing that doesn't think that Oscar's just a nut job. He's an absolute. He said, "Yeah, I know I've been in and out of rehab 40 times. I know I cheated on my wife. I know everything about Oscar is true. Everything you've heard bad about Oscar, he did all of it, and then some. You know what? Canelo's never done anything in his life. He just fights, and Canelo would beat the crap out of him now. He's an old man." And he talks a lot for an old man against a guy. That guy, Canelo, wanted to rip his head off yesterday.
He did.
Watch your step.
He certainly did. Ryan Garcia tested positive for PEDs after the win over Devin Haney. I saw today, Scotty, that Haney wants the win stricken from his previously undefeated record because A, he was 3 pounds overweight, and B, he tested positive for PEDs. He wants the win out.
And then, C, he has denied it till the day is blue ever since. Meanwhile, he failed the test. He put up some bottle of supplement that he used, like some kind of hash oil or some kind of stupid supplement. Ryan Garcia busted for PEDs. You know now that he's a cheater and a liar. That's what we do know. And then he should no more have that win than fly a kite. He should be stripped of the win. Haney kept his belt anyway because he didn't make weight. But Haney deserves the win because the guy cheated.
We should close today with our friend Bill Romanowski. Files for bankruptcy, Scotty. Romo, not a good scene for him with the bankruptcy file.
Now we know why I couldn't get a hold of Romo for the last couple of months. I've been looking for him, and I was looking for some lean and, chops on the lean. She's working out. We wanted to get that cookies and cream sent over. He would always send me shipments of it. Couldn't hear back from him for months. He never ignored me in his life. Now I know why. The feds are looking for $15.5 million that he allegedly has siphoned off and not paid taxes on. This is not a good day for Romo.
There
what
you
a
go.
Mess, Clever. What a mess. We'll see you tomorrow on Coast to Coast.